Hi, welcome to Productive C#. In this video, I want to talk about the Readonly Struct feature introduced in C# 7.2. I have a console application in Visual Studio 2017, and let's have a look at the code I have at the moment. So I have a struct called spaceship that contains a name, x and y, width and height. There's a method size that returns the size of the ship, and a method bigger that takes two spaceships as in parameters and return a reference to the spaceship that is bigger. All right? Actually, it's checking the size of the first ship. If it's bigger than the size of the second ship, return the first ship. And then I have a program that creates two spaceships, the Millennium Falcon and the Enterprise, and then call the bigger method 100 million times. Okay, let me run this code and see how long it takes. It's going to take around 6.1 seconds in this case. Okay, so remember the number. Now I want to show you what you can do now using C# 7.2 for structs. You can add a read-only keyword here when you define a struct. The first things you notice when you do that is that the compiler enforces you to actually make sure that all the fields are read-only. So the struct must be read-only. There must be no way for you to actually change the state of the struct. That's amazing, because now finally you can get compiler support to avoid that. And there we go. And now I should be able to just build like I did before. If I run the code now, what you can see now is taking about 3.5 seconds. It's a lot quicker than before. Okay, so why? Let's try to understand why. So the main reason is because, so before that, let's have a look at quickly what the bigger method does. So as you can see, I'm using ref keyword a lot. I'm passing Millennium Falcon Enterprise by reference because I'm using the in parameter. I'm returning references and just calling methods. So I wouldn't expect that there is a lot of copy going on here because I'm actually already using the ref keywords. However, when you actually call a method on a struct, when the struct is not defined as read-only, the compiler really doesn't know if you actually are going to modify the struct or not. So nothing would have stopped me like to do width equals 100 before, when the width actually had a private setter. And the compiler didn't know about that, can't know about that. So what actually the compiler does when you don't use read-only struct, the compiler always creates a copy of the struct when you call a method. It's kind of a defensive mechanism that is using when you actually use the in parameters. Okay, it doesn't when you don't use the in parameters, but when you actually use the in parameter, and just to make sure that really the in parameter semantics is preserved, does a defensive call. When you use the read-only keyword in a struct, this doesn't happen anymore. So the defensive copy, when you access a method of a struct used as an in parameter, never happens when you use the read-only structs. And this is actually why the code now is a lot more quicker. Also, in addition to that, the compiler also generates more optimized code when you actually use read-only structs. So in general, it's always a good practice to make your structs immutable. And now you have another tool that you can use to make sure that the compilers enforce the read-only of a struct, so the immutability of a struct, and also generate even more optimized code. So it's something that I've definitely considered to use when you use structs. And I want to show you very quickly that the .NET Framework team also actually used this internally for the .NET Framework. So the performance of the .NET Framework improved now that it's actually using this feature. As you can see, there are 18 references of the use of read-only struct inside the core CLR project. And let's pick one of it, like for example, the value task awaiter. The task awaited that I already have here is actually a struct. As you can see, it's a read-only struct. It's actually quite a big struct that is used for doing all the async behavior when you use the async feature. There you go. It's a 500 more lines struct, and is using ref read-only. So sorry, read-only struct. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is a small feature in C# 7.2 that allows you to make a struct immutable, and also improve the performance. And thank you very much for watching.